Alright guys, in this video we're going to be talking about camp resources. It's one of those things that I actually kind of collect. I collect prefabs. I really do enjoy building camps with prefabs, and also I just like collecting anything that generates resources. What's interesting is way back when, before they started doing resource generators for camps, workshops were very important for getting a lot of things. But now if you actually have a master camp or like a camp that has a bunch of resource generators in it, then the need to do workshops is pretty much non-existent anymore. So I'm going to kind of take you through a tour of my camp here, show you all the generators and all the things that I have set up here. I don't have everything. There's a few things that I'm still hunting for, things like the Enclave data center, things that rotate through the atomic shop that when I see them, I'll get them. One of the other new ones that I don't have yet is the live bait generator, which I'll probably end up getting. But let's go and kind of start on the outside here. Now, this is one of the camp spot that I really do enjoy because I've been on this spot for several years, honestly. So the big one right here is going to be my junk extractor. So this just produces a bunch of junk very consistently, so I don't have to really worry too much about just the general kind of stuff. This is also the Red Rocket dumpster collector. This also produces junk types. And then I have the plasma core recharger and the fusion core charger sitting right here. And then I also like having the industrial water purifiers here. Usually I run 6, but I'm only doing 3 right now because I do have vintage water coolers that help with this as well. Then we have the cement truck. This will generate cement scrap. And then we have the packed Brahmin. This will produce Brahmin milk, baseball gloves, a little bit of junk, but quite a bit of fertilizer and things like that. All this stuff is powered by this fusion generator over here. Let's go on the opposite side. Actually, we missed one down here. This is the fish trap, one of the new ones. I kind of just, keep grabbing a bunch of fish, make fish bits, and do things like that. Over here, we have the dirty pond. Even though I'm sitting here right next to water, I do like having some sort of dirty water resource generator. It just kind of helps. And like I said, this is kind of my master camp where I place everything. And then we have the spoiled apple tree here. This will give me spoiled fruit. This is nice just for if we're making fertilizer or help adding, if we're out of toxic goo, for instance, we can add some radiation for a bloodied build or whatever. Inside here we have stacked gourds. This goes for making brain bombs or XP food. And then I have potato plants that are stacked as well. I use these for one of the dailies, actually, the Hemlock Holes daily. So I just come in here and grab this. Also have Radstag meat sources here, so I have everything for that one daily available on the camp. And then we have stacked corn. Corn is what I use, corn soup. I am a herbivore for my mutations, so this helps a lot. And then we have the turbo fertilizer collector. This helps if I'm just going to be making a bunch of corn soup. I like this single tile kind of garden situation here. Then we have my shelter here, which has basically all of my, a lot of my display stuff, a lot of long-term kind of decorations and stuff in there. The tree sap collector. I don't really run mute fruit because I just always have this tree sap collector going for excess adhesive. And then we have the morbid well collector. This will give us blood packs, blood sacs, and things like that. That's pretty much it for the outside. We're going to go up on the porch now, where we have a few crafting tables. But over here I have the Nuka-Cola mystery machine, 15 caps. I do this to try to get normal variant Nuka-Cola to make nuka grenades. And then we have the budding apothecary. This will create flowers. And then way over here we've got the beer mystery machine, which we could just get beer for that if we have a challenge or something for that. Symptomatic if we're diseased. Got my vendor right here. And then we're going to the main room here. Right here at the entrance we have the vintage water cooler, which is probably one of the best ones. It comes from an event, but very low footprint, generates decent amount of water, and it doesn't have to be in water or on terrain, so it's really nice. And then we have a bunch of buff stuff right here. So we have the Sacred Mothman Tome for XP boost, the Derby Game for Int, the Symptomatic for Charisma, and then we have a bed so we can get our well-rested bonus. Then a bunch of display stuff around here. One other one right here is the games cupboard. This will produce board games. Board games can get you a good source of silver, gold, a bunch of different stuff. So I try to keep that stuff around. And over here we have the Nuka-Cola Quantum Collectron. This has a higher, a 38% chance of giving you normal Nuka-Cola so I can keep, making grenades and stuff in preparations for a season or getting through a season. And then we have the ammo collector, the ammo container. You get this from being max reputation with the Raiders from Wastelanders. It's creating 45 ammo for my Blade build. And then back here we just have the punch card machine and deep freezer. I have a bunch of brain bombs and cranberry relish stored in here and all the stash boxes and stuff. So that's floor one. Let's go out here on the porch. A little bit more stuff out here. We have the water boiler over here. This will give us boiled water, and I can just immediately grab some wood from the firewood pile, and I can do some cooking right here. The nodding donkey will create nuclear waste and waste oil, so that's really nice. It doesn't have to be powered. It is kind of noisy, so I do have it out here. Then we have the counterfeit bottle cap press. This will get you aluminum scrap and lead scrap. I have this out here as well. And then the new cannery is out here as well. And then we have a honey generator. This honey generator is nice because the Sweetwater quest over at the giant teapot, if you just are always creating honey, which doesn't spoil, that daily quest becomes an instant completion when you go over there and do it. Then we have the butterfly sanctuary. This will just create waste acid. Prior to getting the sanctuary here, I would run Hemlock Holes workshop and just get acid that way. But by having just a lot of these resources generate passively at your camp, it eliminates the need to do workshops anymore. Then we have the brewing station over here and the fermenter, and that's right next to the brewing vat, so we get a bunch of fermentable stuff. So we can basically come over here, loot this, turn around and just put it in the fermenter, and that's if we're doing any sort of challenge or something for alcohol, or if you're doing Biv's quest or something like that, which I pretty much have everything from Biv anyway. And then we have our dweller over here, which is Leo. This guy will once a day give you a XP bonus. He'll also sell Nuka-Cola variants as well. Let's go and see what he's got for trade right now. And every day we can come in here and let's go over to food. Doesn't have any Nuka-Cola. Another good source if I'm just trying to focus down on making grenades. The second floor up here is a bunch of food related stuff. So starting over here, we got the weenie wagon for canned dog food. Great if you're doing the challenge for the day for that. Popcorn as well. And then we have the Brahmin milk machine, which will get Brahmin milk. And then the Meyerlurk steamer, which will get Meyerlurk meat and cooked stuff as well. The Deathclaw slow roaster, a bunch of different meat coming out of this one. And then we have the Thrasher field dressing station, which is a bunch of random meat as well. And then the Rad Stag field dressing station. This plus the stacked potatoes mean I can, loot these two things and go do the Hemlock Holes daily. Instant completion there. Parmesan down here. And then we also have a bunch of smaller food stuff up here. So the Critter Cooker, which is one of the newer ones from last season. More food items. The Toxic Gooler Cooler. I use Toxic Goo to actually add radiation to, maintain or bloodied. And then we have the Mothman eggs. These Mothman eggs will go into making XP buff food. Then we have the punch bowl, the trick or treat bowl, and then we have the cookie jar, which is a bunch of just snacks, canned coffee, which will help us with AP regen we can use, and then tea. Tea is really nice because sometimes on challenges you have to drink tea and things like that. Flipping around, we have the Nuka-Cola candy machine, which helps. And then we have the motorized butter churn, which comes from Foshnot, which gets you cooking oil. And that'll break down into oil too. So if you're running a flamer build like I do, it's good to go. Out here, not much to see. We have the very annoying ammo converter, which I don't use, but it's placed anyway. And that's pretty much, I have two other stories in this prefab that I haven't even used yet. But that's pretty much everything. I'm pretty sure I didn't forget anything. That's a lot of stuff. And so when I'm up here on public servers and I'm doing a bunch of events and things like that, all this stuff and none of it's locked. I leave all this stuff unlocked. So if you see my camp on a public server, come by, grab some stuff. That it's all open to the public and everything. And I'm always trying to add new stuff as it comes available. But as I collect more, we'll do more updated videos for this. But hopefully you guys enjoy this little tour here. As kind of like honorable mentions, kind of like a bonus information, like what do I think the best resource generators are currently that I currently own? I would say I get the most use out of probably the vintage water cooler. Now this is going to be like the scorched holiday event drop. So if you can farm that event and get this, or find it on a vendor, these things are just amazing. And then anything that has to do with like the gnawing donkey and like the motorized butter churn up here, anything that produces oil is highly valuable to me as well. And obviously the ammo converter is really nice if you're still running stuff that can be made from here. It doesn't make a whole lot, but it keeps things. It has like a steady income of stuff. I would say the games covered is probably really good as well, because you get a good variety. It's kind of like a pseudo junk collector for the most part. So after we collected everything, let's go ahead and scrap it all. You'll see everything. There's all the stuff that's coming out. And so this is all the stuff we kind of produce from it all. And then the cooking oil here will give us oil and stuff like that. But the idea is that, you know, obviously the yields aren't great on all this stuff, but if you're always collecting them, constantly collecting them, then it just adds up over time. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one.